All right. Let's get right into it, right? Let's start with an hour. So remember I said that the trade is gonna be based on the analysis that I sent today, that this trade is based on the 1 hour, right? So remember I said yesterday, I did mention on the session of yesterday, I did mention this tool right here, and as you can see, this tool right here has been giving us higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. But then when the market got to this level, it created a higher lower high, right? So I'm like,
Mm,
okay, we have a lower high at that area, right? So what you wanna do is you wanna go down to M30, right? So as you
mm,
can see, around this area, we had price bouncing off this area. So now that we have a higher low, I mean a lower high, which was created above this area. Now what we can do is we know that anything below this level of support will be sells, right? So we
mm,
will then take this as the indication to the upside, to the downside. We will then
mm,
take this as the yes, and as the indication to the downside to say, look, price is willing to sell below this, and now we have a lower high which was created in 1 hour. But on the MT, it's gonna be a bit different. That's why I was saying, using this tool, it requires you to be able to, use it only just 1 hour and 4 hour just to get an idea of what's currently happening, because
mm,
those will be the ones that are actually in control of what's currently happening, right?
mm,
So yeah, we have that. Then we have this level of support to say, okay, price bounced off this area to create that that lower high, when the price then was bearish on M30, which as you can see, we had that lower high here. Price bounced off this area to create a lower high and then shot down, right? So we expect more or less the same thing to happen here also, because now we have the same thing which is happening, or which happened on M30, happening on H1. So as you can see also, price gave us a higher high, gave us a higher low, and then it went on to create a lower high. And as you can see, anything below this would have been sales, right? So, and as you can see, market went up to correct, came down, and it sold down to these levels, right? So, with that being said, same thing is happening, but now it's happening on a 1 hour. As you can see, on a 1 hour, it's now happening on the 1 hour. We had the higher high, we had the higher low, went up to correct, and then we know anything below this level will be sales. That's why we're selling anything below this level, right? So that's where, and then we got our entry based off this area also, this area of support, to say, look, and remember I did advise go to 15 and then go to 5 minutes. Let me just switch this thing off quickly so you can see it. So on a 15 minute, we didn't have quite an entry that we were hoping for. So on a 5 minute, that's when you get to then see that entry on gold. So remember I said, price will bounce off this level of support that I saw on 5 minute, because I saw price was also bouncing off that area, you know. And then we also know, based on from the 1 hour and the M30, that anything below this support will be sells. But we also now, because of now we are on a 5 minute, we will know that anything below this level of support will also be sells, because now we are the time frame that is in control is the 1 hour M30, and they are all in correlation in terms of what's currently happening, because now we are in sales and the market is now bearish. So anything below these levels will be sales, and also anything below these levels will be sell. But we needed also to come retest this level and now create the lower high, and we have the lower low and we have the lower high, which then became our entry point, and we used this previous lower high just above it as our stop loss. And as you can see, price is nicely shifting to the downside with those lower highs, lower lows and lower highs being created. So I want to see it continue to go down from this level. I want to see it continue to go down this level. As you can see, it broke below, came to retest, give us probably a lower high, and then I want to see it continue to push to the downside, at least until this level, 37, 3,753 level, 52, 53 level. So I want to see it come to that level. And also I expect it to do the same thing, because now same thing it did by giving us this indication. I want to see it now be able to break below this level, break below
Mm.
this level also. You understand? So once it breaks below this level, then we can continue to sell. We can continue to hold our initial positions. And once we get to this level, we can then be in a position where we can then, move our stop loss to entry point, or to break even, as most people would say. So that's something that we're looking at, we're waiting for at this moment in time. So that's what I want to see happening on gold. But yeah, currently we there on those entries, and yeah, that's a good trade. This is a good trade actually. This is a great setup. I just want to see it pushing down a little bit more. Let me see. How much is this? Yeah, for me, the 1:10. It's a 1:10 trade
And
down to these levels, but I want to see it, push down a little bit more, and then, breaking those levels. Yeah, pretty much so. So that's what I want to see more of it, the downside. So yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Your TP is what? Which level?
My final TP is at the 700, which is 2,700. That price. That's where remember our Friday TP, the TP on Friday was 3,700, where we got that entry from the buyers, where the indication came from, and then we're going to create that high or at 3,791. So because now we are in a control, we are in a kind of a correction,
Mm.
going down to correct at these levels. So and we're taking sales based on also how ICC actually works. That's why we are in these nice sales to the downside. So, and overall, it will be correction based on, if we go into a bigger time frame, because this then would have been that indication to the upside, overall.
That's the right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The 1 hour. The higher time frame here is what? 1 hour or 4 hours?
4 hours, the one that's actually in control of the buys. 4 hour is still bullish, as you can see. As I'm saying, this on a 4 hour, it then is that indication, and then the
Mm.
market has to correct back. So I'm hoping it corrects back to these levels before we can start looking for any movement again to the upside. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah. So pretty much that's what I wanna see happening. But because now we wanna focus on what's currently happening, which is the 1 hour. That's why we, having those we because we had a higher high, we had a lower high, I mean a higher low, and then we had a lower high, and then we had a lower low, and then we had a lower high. We had another, equal lows here. Had this what this I would say this would be on a 1 hour. When you switch on the indication, it shows this as a lower high, because these are actually, equal lows. And but when you then go to M30, that's when you get to see this other level as a higher low. But on the 1 hour, as you can see, is marking them as higher lows. And then we had a lower high at this level. So if the market is creating a lower high, it's supposed to go down and create a lower low. That means now this is a change in character, or the change in movement, in terms of, break of structure, whatever the case may be. So we want to see it break these levels here. That's why I marked them off. I want to see it break those levels down there, right? So yeah, pretty much that's what you want to see happening on this gold trade. Um, yeah, so we're focusing on 1 hour M30, and then what is currently happening around this, and then once we break below, I think we can then hold until 3,700, price to correct until 3,700. Same thing, same thing that happened until, from here also, as you can see, the market also gave you the indication to the upside, just like I was showing you. The market gave indication to the upside, and then started correcting back using the 1 hour and the 30 minutes. And as you can see, that was a nice downtrend, and there were a lot of trading opportunities. Like for instance, below this area here, because the market gave an indication below that you know that anything below this would then be definitely be sales. You understand? So, and as you can see, price did also respect everything that was below that area, because now it gave the indication, came back to correct, and then also this was more of a higher high than it was of a lower high, but it was a lower high to this one. So same thing on a 1 hour, it will be a lower high, but on the MD, you see it was a higher high. But then market came short down, broke this indication that we you saw here happening, and then started respecting it until it went to finally end up correcting price and started shifting up to the upside, right? So that is what is basically happening. So pretty much that's what you want to see also, similar thing happening here where we have ourselves, we want to see it break below this, but we also have broken below this, so we expect price to also shift down, break below this, and start respecting those levels, and then correct nicely with the much more of a downtrend, you know kind of thing, on a 1 hour and M30 and 15 minute, and then probably even to these levels before we start breaking those lower highs, and then start to look for entries to the upside, back to the upside. You get what I'm saying?
May I ask how many pip stop loss are you using for this entry?
I think it's just around. How much is it? Let me go to. But I think it's just about. If is it? But it's 3 points. My stop loss oh, my stop loss is just about 6 points. Yeah, 6 points. Six.
60 pips.
Yeah, that's 60 pips. Usually, I can shift it down here, which can then make it 40, but I
Hmm.
just kept it there based on this level here, because that's where pounds bounced off of. So I want to see it push down. But like I said, once we break below this level of support that we have here on 15 minute, then I'm shifting my stop loss to break even. But overall, this is a beautiful, beautiful setup. And This is what we anticipate the market to do. So this is a beautiful swing trade that we can hold until this level. As long as we keep on breaking these some of the levels that I've marked, as you can see, also these lows, we had this price bouncing off these levels before it shot up, and also this kind of level that is also here. We had Browns bounce off here and then came and then shot up. So those are the kind of level that I'm also looking at, same as this one that we are currently, hoping to break below this one. Yeah, but pretty much this is a good, wonderful, is a good entry. So I want to see more of the market on a 1 hour shooting below, you know, those levels. So yeah, that's pretty much on what's happening on gold.
And may I ask, when you place, how many trades do you place? Like when you see this kind of setup, is it just one trade or multiple trades?
It depends on the lot size that you're losing. You can place one trade of 0.10, you can place a one trade of one lot, you can place 10 trades of 0.01. But based on how prop firm works, you can only place one trade in a span of some of them in a minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes. You can only place one trade, than multiple, because once you place multiple trades at once, it's called it will be a violation of market conditions or whatever. They say you manipulating the market to your advantage. So it's like
Yeah.
there's volume coming in. Meanwhile, there's not even volume coming in. Just small sizes. So I highly recommend just placing one lot that you can, one trade with the proper lot size that you want, based on the risk that you're willing to take. Because if you're using MetaTrader 5, it will show you on a stop loss that I'm risking this much per trade. Before you enter the trade, you can use that clock kind of, tab that is at the top. Then you can click there and then understand that if I use this lot size and then my stop loss like maybe 60, 50 pips, then I'm risking this much. That means every every 60, 40 pips you will be making that much also at the same time. So that's pretty much what's currently happening. And then we can move on to this trade, what is this? It is the US 30. Sorry, I will just go back to this. Yeah, which is the US 30. Remember, we did have those analysis made before the market came down, and then market shot up to the upside, gave an indication that it can buy. It has ability to buy above those levels also. It has ability to buy above this highs here. You understand? And the market came, and just like I told you, because before it shot up, I said, are we hoping the market to correct back to these levels here, because that's where the initial indication to the upside actually came from, this, and that's where we took an entry the last time, buying price off of, so that's what we want to see most of happening in terms of our entry and so forth. So yeah, it came back to these levels, and that's when we bought off this level. So I want to see it also break above, but it has shown that it can break above also, where the in the initial, the initial indication came from the 4 hour, this 4 hour higher high. It has shown that it can buy above those levels. So as you can see, it gave us an indication also on 15 minutes that it can buy above this level. So I want to see more of that. So as you can see, we had a lower high, a lower low, but then we have a higher high. So I want to see it also pushing to the upside, continue to push to the upside, and then we aiming for that overall, higher high that it was created, that higher high. So that's more of what we aiming for. So my stop loss was just here, based on actually the trade that we took. I decided to, because I'm risking $100 per trade. I'm looking to make, it's a 1:6 for me. I'm looking to make $600 of this move. So I've been keeping my head below the waters in terms of how I'm going into trades, and then also ensuring that per trade I'm willing to risk this much per trade. You understand?
Mm.
So, and willing to get this much per trade, because in most cases, if you go just jump into the market, you can end up blowing, your balance and or your pro forma account, reaching
Mm.
your daily maximum
Right.
loss, or maybe your maximum loss of overall. You understand? And then you get, rejected, or whatever the case may be, or eliminated from the challenge. So you want to be very mindful, and it helps with patience, it helps with the greed, it helps with everything overall 360, right? So same thing also with what's happening on US 30. It's actually also happening on Nasdaq. Same thing. We anticipated that the market will actually come, because we got that indication to the upside, started having some sort of consolidation. It broke below, giving the indication, and then came to touch and then shot back down. But you didn't want to get into sales more, because now this is on an M30, and as you can see, it's already a bullish trend on an M30. So it was more closer to home than it is on a higher time frame. On a higher time frame, there's not really much. If you go to 4 hour, there's not really much to walk around with. This was just a retest. As you can see, there wasn't really much to work with. Even on the 1 hour, it did look more of the 30 minute. So it is much more closer to home than, to actually take those sales to the downside. So I didn't wanna, jeopardize or say, I'm missing out. I was not missing out at all. I was just waiting it to come to this, higher highs, so we can bounce off, because that's where we got our initial buy entry. The on Was it on Monday? Yeah, on Monday we got our initial buy entry from these levels on Monday until this high, because we market gave us an indication that it can buy below this. I mean, above these highs, it created that and then started to correct, and then once it broke above, we got an entry, and then we took a buy from here until that high. You understand? So now price shot up, came down, same level, because now we know that anything above these levels will be buys. That means we have buyers which are sitting at this area, which are pushing price to go up. You understand? We could have taken our initial entry here from yesterday, but because the highs are much closer to each other, I wanted to see more of it building a nice trend to the upside. Because one thing about Nasdaq and USD is that they, when they drop, they fall like milk, like they fall like liquid. But when they start to move up, they build structure. They start to build structure more and more. Rather, if there's no any other news, or maybe before new session, they build that structure, that nice structure that you want to see. So we got there, our entry was triggered. If you go to M15 and 5 minutes, you will see it. We got that initial push to the upside, and then started to go down, and then we took our entry just above here actually. If I put it nicely, this is how the entry go. We got the entry because now the price was pushing up to the upside. And I want to go to 5 minutes so you can push see clearly to the upside. So that's where the entry actually came from, because now we had this high, this higher high, and this higher low, and this higher high, and then price moved to the upside. But once it started to push to the upside around this, we got an entry, and now we pushing up to the upside. Sorry, we're pushing up to the upside, and it's also a 1:4 trade for me, as I'm risking $100 to make $400. So overall, in between Nasdaq and USD, I'm looking to make $1,000. So we're hoping for today to get that nice push to the upside, and then hit that target that we have set at the top. So this would be our take profit here. Our take profit would be at this highest. It's actually 1:5. Yes, I was wondering. Yeah, it's actually 1:5 trade. So we'll be looking to make that 1:5 on this trade. So there's not really much also from how the market fell. So in terms of also price bouncing off, but the minute we break, I think above these, because now, as you can see, the market reacted off this level that you see here, market reacted of this level that you see here, and everything above that would be bullish. As you can see, price was bouncing off and buy from that level. So you want to see a nice clean break, to the upside. You want to see a nice clean break, a nice clean retest, and then once it price gets there and breaks this level of resistance that we have there, we can then safely move my stop loss to entry point. And this stop loss here, I think that's just about it was about 40 points actually. It was about 40 points, yeah. It was about 40 points. My stop loss was just 40 points on this trade. 40, yeah, 40 points actually, yeah, on this trade. So pretty much that's what we
Do
have.
you see do you see a possibility of this trade reversing below, back to the downside, under that arrow there you just placed?
Um, not really, because now, as you can see, the market starting to build that lower low, build that lower high, but then started to create a higher low. So now this would be a higher high. If it comes, it can come to entry point, bounce off that, and then start to shoot to the upside. And also, we had that initial indication to the upside that anything above here would be bullish, and we are already above that level. And also, like I said, I'm just waiting for it to also break above this level, so that we can also say anything above this will be bullish overall. And also, once we break this level, anything above that will also still be bullish, because we've had multiple indication that the market will be bullish above those areas. You understand? So hence I was saying, if on USD yesterday, if it should it shot up, I think that's where it was, somewhere around this. Yeah, around, if it shoots up, don't buy it, because we don't have anything to reference it off. You understand? We need structure, we need data to reference it off. Say, look, we want to see it push to the upside, we want to see it do this, we want to see it do that. And as you can see, even on USD now, currently it's starting to build. Though it had this low created, started to build a structure nicely, and it's because of that indication that I mentioned earlier. As you can see, Let me just zoom in. As you can see, that indication that I mentioned here, that I want to see it push to the upside because it gave an indication, just giving an indication correct and push to the upside. Even on small time frames, it gives the same thing. It's the same analogy you apply, that you apply on bigger time frame, you apply it also on small time frame. Once it shows it can buy above those levels, it will obviously retest and then should back up to those levels, as long as it's in correlation in terms of what is currently happening. We know overall 4 hour we are bullish, 1 hour we are bullish, everything now is bullish. Even 15 minutes now, it is bullish, and because now we're pushing to the upside, and it just broke this lower high that was created here. Now is pushing to the upside. You understand? So now we knowing that every time the market does this, the market does that, is bullish. So you're applying the ICC overall 360, but you need to start with that top down analysis before you can move to smaller time frames. You need to be sure of the smaller time frames. You understand? So you can push to the upside. But so that's what you want to see also happening on Nasdaq. So I'm not sure about it pushing down unless there's some kind of news or some kind of reaction that might be happening to the world. But based on the structure that Nasdaq has been doing now, this is a beautiful, beautiful structure, and I want to see it push to the upside because it gave us indications before that it can push above those levels.
Okay, I got
Yeah.
you, brother.
Won-
Okay,
Wonderful. So, are you probably satisfied with what?
exactly.
All right, all right. No, I'm glad. I'm glad. So, if anybody, I just saw someone got in late, so I think they can, watch this video. I will upload it to YouTube also as part of the Zoom weekly meetings. I started doing that with the session that we had yesterday. So yeah, pretty much we're gonna be uploading every single session that we have on a daily basis. If I'm able to, I will do a session and then we can upload it. And also to remember, there will be a course coming in, a 7 day course. I wanna see if I can start probably next week or maybe next month, and then we can then have that 7 day Zoom yeah, we can have that 7 day course, in terms of analyzing, plus also you can reference the course with the weekly Zoom sessions, online Zoom sessions that we have of the live trades that we are in, or the live analysis that we will be making. So I hope this will help most of you a lot. Remember, we're not selling any courses, we're not selling any signals. I'm just sending my analysis, my thoughts, how what I think before I go into a trade. So I hope it helps also with the trading psychology, in terms of also don't look to make quick money. I know we getting to December, it's getting festive, we getting the festive season, my brother. You understand? Even today in
Yeah.
South Africa is Heritage Day, tribal day, where people they're celebrating their cultures, their tribalism, and whatever the case may be. Everybody's looking to get drunk and all these kind of things. And I'm here in the charts, and you get what I'm saying. You try to build those kind of habits. You wanna build those kind of mindset with yourself, and it will help most of us, or most of you, a lot in terms of your trading, and then your psychology overall. Yeah, pretty much most of the trading is 20% analysis, 80% waiting. We had to wait for this yesterday to come to the levels that we were waiting for to take buys, and now we have to wait for it to hit our target, to our target. So that's more of it. Trust the process, trust the analogy. And one thing I also I see most of the people making the group is they're trying to fit some of the what is this, some of the strategies they've learned, some of like ICT, smart money concepts, PDRAs, order blocks, whatever the case may be. They're trying to fit it into ICC. Let me tell you now, it won't work. You understand? Now you're creating a system of doubt where you're gonna doubt your own analysis. You understand? The best part, forget everything. Erase everything from your mind. Erase order blocks. Erase, demand zones. Erase supply zones. Erase all any of that. This is just pure market structure and pure price action. No need for you to be pushing, say, no, I see a level of, an order block here, price made. No, 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 no. This is just pure technical analysis using price action and market structure. So erase that from your mind and then trust the process in terms of what you're trying to achieve. because that will help you a lot in terms of trading ICC. I've seen it work for me, and I hope it also works for others. And as you can see, the market is doing with trading with what the market is doing, what the market is showing us. We don't saying, we don't, assuming. No, the market give us an indication that it can buy above those levels. So we're looking to buy above those levels. If it shows us it can sell up below those levels, we're looking to sell below those levels based on the market structure, the trend. So this is pure market structure and pure price action. So yeah, the meeting is left with 1 minute, guys. It was I think it was a good fruitful session, and I hope this helps you guys with your trading a lot. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good lovely day.
Arigato.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.